Assalamu alaikum, it's Daiyan from Ekhoni Shomoi. Today I want to talk about something that goes beyond the headlines of Bangladesh. A question that defines whether the blood of our people will bring genuine liberation or whether it will be wasted like so many failed uprisings before us. You see, history has shown us a bitter pattern. People rise up against oppression, they shed blood for freedom, but the system of injustice often remains untouched. Bangladesh itself has seen this before. In 1969, when the movement against Ayub Khan shook the subcontinent, and in 1990, when the people overthrew Ershad's dictatorship. Both times, the tyrant fell, but the oppressive structures stayed alive. And of course, the Muslim world's most famous example, the Arab Spring of 2011 to 2013. Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, Yemen, Syria, millions poured into the streets, chanting for dignity, justice, and freedom. Dictators fled, regimes shook, blood was spilled. Yet, today, what do we see? Egypt went back to military dictatorship. Libya is divided into warlord states. Yemen is crushed under endless crisis. Syria became a battlefield for foreign powers. Even Tunisia, hailed as the Arab Spring success story, collapsed back into authoritarianism. So the question is unavoidable. Is Bangladesh's July Uprising heading down the same path? History teaches us that political unity in such uprisings is usually temporary. In Bangladesh, after the fall of Ershad in 1990, the so called free alliances that united against him quickly fragmented. Why? Because their unity was built only on removing a common enemy, not on a shared vision of what should come after. And now in 2024, we see something very similar. After Hasina fell, the so called July Declaration was born. Parties that were fighting in the streets just months ago now sit together, sharing power and carving out influence. They're divided in rivalry, but united in preserving one thing: the same secular capitalist framework. They may change faces, but not the foundations. Let's be clear, revolutions don't fail just because of betrayal or repression. They fail because they lack an ideological project. The Arab Spring taught us this harsh lesson. People protested tyranny, demanded democracy, opposed corruption, but there was no comprehensive vision for what the state, the society, and the economy should look like afterward. That vacuum allowed the old regimes, the militaries, and most importantly, the foreign powers to step back in and take control. Bangladesh is no different. The emotions of the masses are deeply tied in Islamic values. People chant Takbir, they carry the Quran in protests, they see Islam as justice. Yet, in the actual political project, there's no serious Islamic vision on the table. Instead, revolutions are reduced to fight over elections, constitutions, and temporary power sharing, all within the boundaries drawn by foreign powers. And here's what we must speak very clearly. Every time a Muslim nation rises up, the colonial powers intervene to hijack it. The United States and Europe did it for the Arab Spring, supporting Tunisian democracy only when it served them, backing Sisi's coup in Egypt when Morsi threatened their order, turning Syria into a proxy battlefield and leaving Yemen to bleed. In Bangladesh, we see the same pattern already. Hasina may be gone, but America's influence is now stronger than ever. US corporations like ExxonMobil and Accelerate Energy are entering our energy sector. Washington is pushing its Indo Pacific strategy to make the Bay of Bengal a new frontier of control. They're experimenting with the Arakan corridor, using groups like the Arakan Army to pressure both Bangladesh and Myanmar. So let's ask this very important question. Is the interim government really reforming for the people? Or is it just executing a script handed down by Washington or Delhi? So let's have a look at the Bay of Bengal. Why is it important? Because the Bay of Bengal is not just water, it is life for Bangladesh, our economy, our food, our security, our sovereignty. Yet, time and time again, our rulers have handed it over to foreigners. Sheikh Hasina tried to give India strategic access to Chittagong and Mongla ports. And now, Dr. Yunus talks about friendship and partnerships in the Bay while American companies move in. Look, the fear is real. History may repeat itself. Remember how the British first came to Bengal as traders in Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay? They entered under the banner of commerce and development. 2 centuries later, they had colonized the entire subcontinent. The same playbook is unfolding again, only this time under the UN, the US, and their Indo Pacific project. So, where does that leave us? If the July Uprising is to be different, it must reject the deception of temporary alliances, reject the colonial projects disguised as democracy or development, and most importantly, it must anchor itself in a clear ideological project. And this project has to be rooted in Islam because Islam alone promises to end zulm. Islam alone defines governance as a trust and not as a throne. Islam alone dismantles foreign domination and builds justice as a system and not as a mere slogan. If we don't build such a vision, then let's be honest, the July Uprising will go down in history like the Arab Spring, a movement of blood and bravery, but ultimately a failed revolution. The people of Bangladesh have proven again and again their courage, but courage without direction can be hijacked. The world is watching. Will we repeat the Arab Spring tragedy, or will we finally break the cycle of failed revolution? The choice, as always, belongs to us.